Hi, my name is Ryan Lane, and welcome to my review channel. So for today's movie, I will be reviewing Black Adam, starring Dwayne Johnson and Pierce Brosnan. Anyway, this film tells the story of who else but Black Adam, a slave in a fictional nation called Kahndaq, who manages to lead a rebellion and is granted the mystical powers from a wizard society and can become powerful when he says the phrase Shazam. Anyway, in the year 2600 BCE, for mysterious reasons, he is put into a tomb and is only released 5,000 years later in the modern day. And so from there, he decides to enact some revenge on for the citizens of Kahndaq. So from there, he teams up with the Justice Society, who at one point, for reasons that are explained at one point in the movie, want to take him in rather than work with him. And partly for reasons because they refer to Black Adam as a murderer, which, yeah, he kind of is. He does have a high body count. And so from there, the film kind of is just them trying to figure out how to get along and also get Black Adam into prison. This film is bad, like really bad. Let's start off with the performances. The performances are amazingly weak, like all across the board, from like everything from the child actors to the main lead and Dwayne Johnson. No one gives a good performance. Like at one point there's this mercenary who is trying to lead an attack at Black Adam's prison, and at one point, and his dialogue, as you know, I heard a good friend of mine say, is akin to an NPC from a video game. I can't think of any better way to say it. It's just so bad. It's stiff and awkward, and all the main characters don't fare much better in terms of their performances. Dwayne Johnson in particular, he is uncharacteristically bad in his performance. You know how he typically, will show... Well, let's start with the fact that Dwayne Johnson, he's not a thespian, but he has shown that he has some range. His performance in Pain and Gain has shown that he is willing to give a performance where he has more than one facial expression throughout the movie. This Rock here, gives off more facial expressions than Dwayne Johnson in this movie. I know it's an old joke, but I don't know how else to say it. In any given scene, he will have one facial expression, and that's it. It's like the director looked at Dwayne Johnson and said, okay, that performance you've got right there, hold it for the entire scene, and we're good. And Dwayne Johnson must have been like, but are you sure I shouldn't have more than one expression? And the director was like, no, it's good. It's cool. That's what it feels like. And then there are plenty of other characters like Dr. Fate and Atom Smasher and Cyclones and Hawkman. Well, I don't think his exact name is Hawkman, but he has wings that grow out of his back. And they all, to a certain extent, feel like generic ripoffs of other characters, both in iconography and in personality. Like Atom Smasher, it's sort of weird. It's like the writers couldn't decide if they wanted to rip off Deadpool or The Flash in terms of personality and iconography. His suit feels like a Deadpool ripoff, yet and at one point there are moments where it feels like Deadpool, at one point wrecks Artifact, and his line delivery and dialogue feels like that of Deadpool, yet there are times where it feels like they're trying to rip off The Flash. Again, this guy has a munchie habit, and it's it's The Flash. And then there's Dr. Fate, played by Pierce Brosnan, and so I will say this, I kind of like Pierce Brosnan's performance, alright. I feel like he's the only actor who manages to give a good performance in this movie, but even then he's hamstrung by the fact that he just feels like a Doctor Strange ripoff at times, both in terms of personality and in his action scenes. At one point there's an action scene that feels eerily reminiscent of Avengers Infinity War. Also, the action scenes. The action scenes aren't compelling for a variety of reasons. One, I'm just not that I didn't find the characters compelling, so whenever they were involved in action scenes, I never felt, interested in seeing them get out of the action scene alive. So that right there didn't help. Also, the CGI. The CGI looks unfinished at times, and it really feels like they could have used a few more months to patch up the animation, so that right there doesn't help. And the editing, the editing is like, it's just way too many cuts in a given action sequence, and so that just makes it hard to keep track of what's going on and geography in a given scene. Yeah, so that's really bad. Plus, the exposition. The film has so much expository dialogue in the very beginning of the film, and unfortunately it hands so much of the exposition to this little kid who at one point, tells this security guard, it's like, you're not, my mate, you're just a colonizer here to extract our resources, hate our culture, and it's just like, wow, that was a bad line of dialogue. It's just, yeah. So with all that in mind, thanks to weak performances, derivative writing, and poor action sequences, I will be giving Black Adam 1.5 stars out of 5. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. If you like this review and would like to see more like it, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. And for today's comment section prompt of the day, did you like Black Adam? Why or why not?